Hello guys, welcome back to another Movie Matthew video. This is going to be quite a big video for me and probably the one I'm going to put the most effort in, that I've done so far anyway. But this is me telling you my favourite movies from each year I've been alive, starting from 1998 all the way to 2020. And yeah, I'm just going to tell you what my favourite movies are from those years. I thought it'd be a great idea. I liked this one, and yeah, I'm looking forward to doing it for you guys. So yeah, let's just jump straight into it then. The first year is 1998, and there's so many honourable mentions that I'll pick out three in particular: Saving Private Ryan, American History X, and The Big Lebowski. All amazing films and could have been here. But my favourite is The Truman Show. I love this film. It's totally original, a film you'll probably never see ever again, completely original storyline. The screenplay of this is just epic. Jim Carrey takes on this more serious role, and he is a brilliant actor. He's not just this comedic actor, he's a very good dramatic actor, and he shows it in here. It's an unbelievable performance from him. You know, it's mainly just him on the screen, and he just eats up every scene he's in. It's great. And this movie actually holds a lot of relevance to now. Back then, you know, Truman Show, it's all about Truman's life, and he's getting filmed constantly for other people's entertainment. But little do they know, now in 2020, that's the life of most celebrities now. You can just Google, let's say, Meghan Markle 24-hour surveillance, and you'll probably find it online, her 24-hour life. You know, it's incredible now. There's cameras following people everywhere. Us walking down the streets, there's cameras following us. It's pretty weird. It holds a lot of relevance to now, which is very strange, you know. But it's just a great film. The use of colour is spectacular. Cinematography is spectacular. Direction's amazing. It's got everything you want in a film. An unbelievably satisfying ending. Very dramatic moments where Truman is starting to realise that this might be a TV show, and things start to unravel, and it's just brilliant. It's such a good movie, and if you haven't seen it, you've got to. It's so good, and yeah, I love The Truman Show. 1999, a lot of people would go The Matrix, and yes, I love The Matrix, but this year it's got to be American Beauty. I think this movie is just brilliant. Won 5 Oscars, deservedly so. It was brilliant. I absolutely love American Beauty. This was a directorial debut for Sam Mendes, and boy does he smash it. And we all know he's a very good director. He's directed some great movies since this film. And Alan Ball, his adapted screenplay for this is just brilliant. The dialogue in this is just so entertaining. It hooks you in. Kevin Spacey, who, say what you want about him personally, but as an actor, this guy is fucking good. He's great in this as Lester. What a performance. And his arc, his emotional arc, you know, and his belief about life and how it changes in this film is beautiful to see. You know, all the characters in this are chasing something, you know, a good job, to find young love, they're all looking for something extra, and it takes someone like Lester to realise it's not about that, you know. It's about life and just enjoying life and appreciating life. Don't just always be chasing for the goals that will probably not make you happy when you get to it. And it's a beautiful story that way. It shows it in a great light, and Kevin Spacey's Lester really smashes out of the park here. It's Lester's realisation about life just before death that's so beautiful to see. You know, his narration through this film is brilliant. The narration in this film is great. It's for me, it's basically got everything I enjoy about film. You know, it keeps me hooked in from start to finish. Great ending, very entertaining from start to finish. Not a single scene of this movie is wasted. It's just a brilliant overall film. The score is also very, very memorable, you know, and it's just a very good score as well. Everything really just comes together in this film and just simply works. I really like American Beauty. The year 2000 was another good year for film. Some standouts for me: I love Unbreakable, I love Requiem for a Dream, and I love American Psycho. But there is a standout, and it won Best Picture that year, and it's called Gladiator. Gladiator is such a good film. In my opinion, it's Ridley Scott's best, which is saying a lot because the guy's made some very, very good films. But this film is just, one word, epic. Russell Crowe is such a good actor. I think he's great in this film. I think it's one of his best performances. And I also love a very young Joaquin Phoenix in this. He is also brilliant in this film. You tell there was huge potential for him in the future. He is brilliant in this. And they're both unbelievable. They're the two standout performances for me. The movie also packs a huge emotional punch, you know. You're so invested in this main character, Russell Crowe's character. You just desperately want him to succeed and get his revenge, you know, avenge his family. You know, and Joaquin Phoenix is just such a prick in it. Just something needs to happen to that guy, and it's just epic. The action scenes are so good, so well done. It's paced relentlessly, you know, from start to finish. It's entertaining throughout, and it would, like I say, it's a Best Picture winner, and a lot of people consider it quite a weak one, whereas I would consider it one of the Best Picture winners of the last 25 years. I would say I think it's just that good. I think it's a great film, and yeah, everything about it's good. I couldn't fault it, and that's why it is my favourite film from 2000. 2001 is what else other than Shrek? I love Shrek. I think it's an animated classic of a film. I think it's just everything I like. It's rewatchable, a very original storyline, very, very likeable characters, in particular Donkey. I love Donkey. A great villain in Lord Farquaad. Great music choices. The music in this, you know, the songs by Smash Mouth in this are so good. It's a great story about true love, and it's not all about what's on the outside. It's about what's on the inside too. And it teaches kids a valuable lesson in that. It's just a great film. I hope it just keeps growing and stays popular, because people need to watch this. Generations to come need to watch this because it's great. It's a computer animated classic of a film which is so rewatchable, so likeable. It's just a film I really enjoy watching, and Shrek will forever, ever, ever be a movie I really enjoy, and I'll always watch it until the day I die. 2002 is The Pianist, by far the most emotional film on this list. This film, it's not just one of those where it's one and done, you know, it's like Schindler's List. You watch it once, you think, I could do not watching this again for another like 5 years. But this one is rewatchable too. I think it's directed so well by Roman Polanski. He smashes it, and Adrian Brody smashes it too. God, youngest ever Oscar winner, Best Male Actor, and he deserved it. What a performance. The method acting on display here really captures the pain that our main character goes through, and this film is just brilliant. You know, it really brings to light all these atrocities that the Jews had to go through, and it's just awful to see, and it's so educational for us to watch and understand. It's based on a true story, this, unbelievably. And yeah, what this character goes through, and some of the scenes just stay with me forever. Like some of the I could watch this movie once, and there's a couple of scenes in this where I will simply never ever forget. It scarred me for life. It's just so memorable, so packs such an emotional punch to this film. I cannot watch it through without crying. And it's told so well. It's very real. It feels very real. I think it's one of those that really helps you understand what the Jews really went through, because what they went through was just like torture. And some of the scenes, you just can't even imagine it's being real. It's that unbelievable. But there's so many memorable scenes that you think, how the hell has this happened? You know, and so many jaw-dropping moments. I just think it's a great film that everyone needs to watch at least once in their life. It's an educational film, a technically brilliantly done film, technically acted amazingly. This film has it all, it really does, and yeah, I implore anyone who hasn't to seen this film, please watch it. It's a great watch. 2003 is quite an obvious one. Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. What a perfect film. A perfect ending to a perfect trilogy. And this one is my favourite in the trilogy. I just think it's brilliant. It is epic. Again, epic. Like Gladiator, it's just epic. It has everything going for it. The action sequences are just brilliant, and the way it switches from these very intense battle moments over to Frodo and Sam on the trek to Mount Doom is seamless. It's masterful filmmaking, how the switch from these big action sequences to this great journey, and that's what's great too, this big action sequence and this journey with Frodo and Sam is they're just as entertaining as each other. Not one is more entertaining than the other. They're both great. You know, sometimes you watch a film and the action sequence you watch, you're like, yes, this is great. Then it might pan to another one, you're like, oh, well, let's go back to the action. It isn't like that. It's seamless how these two connect, and that's my favourite part about these films. The motion capture work is revolutionary in this film, and it holds up to this day. It's seamless. It's just brilliant overall, this film. It's got everything going for it. One of the most satisfying endings, just period. It's just that good. The ending just has it all. It's emotional at the end as well, it has emotional factors. It's just a great overall epic film. 3.5 hours fly by. You would not think it's 3.5 hours long. Not a minute of that runtime is wasted. It's brilliant. It swept the Oscars with 11 wins. Joint best ever, I think, anyway. I mean, and it deserves it. It's just that good. 2003 movies, I didn't even need to look. I knew this had to be my favourite from 2003. 2004 is Shaun of the Dead. This film is great. Nick Frost and Simon Pegg as a duo are so good, and then you combine them with Edgar Wright to direct, and you're just getting a perfect film. I love this one, I love Hot Fuzz, and I love The World's End, you know, from that trilogy. And this one is my favourite Shaun of the Dead. It's the first one they did, and it's the best one. It is brilliant. The editing is slick, like Edgar Wright, typical Edgar Wright. The editing is slick and great. It's directed brilliantly, and it's very funny. These two, Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, they're just great together. The on-screen chemistry is great. The humour lands. It's a zombie movie that doesn't take itself too seriously, which I really like. You know, the humour is so funny. It's directed so well. Everything about it's good. I love the chemistry between Simon and Liz. And Simon and Liz come out at the end of this with a whole new perspective. Their emotional arcs are great. I just really enjoy Shaun of the Dead. It's a great time. It's very rewatchable, very entertaining, and yeah, like I say, I love it so much because it doesn't take itself too seriously. Zombie films are usually taken very seriously, but Shaun of the Dead doesn't do that. It just does its own thing, and it works. It's a great film. 2005 is Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. The prequels were pretty underwhelming for most people, and I agree, Attack of the Clones and The Phantom Menace, they were just okay, but The Revenge of the Sith, this is a good Star Wars film. I think it's one of the best. It's one of my favourite Star Wars films of all time. I think it's great. It's just, does it have its flaws? Yes. Does it have dialogue problems? Yes. But it doesn't matter. It's just great Star Wars fun. I absolutely love it. The lightsaber battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan, what a lightsaber battle. My favourite in the whole franchise. And it's just relentless. Just keeps going and going and going. It's just lightsabers, action, great scores. It's just a very entertaining Star Wars film. If you love Star Wars, you will love this film. You know, it does feel like this trilogy was just made for the Revenge of the Sith, though. You know, the Phantom Menace and then the Attack of the Clones, them two were kind of just filler, really, for this epic ending. I think it is just, because the first two are so mediocre, Revenge of the Sith, sometimes people think it's not as good. But it is. This one is great. This one is a good one. It's entertaining Star Wars fun. And I just love watching films like that. I love watching films I just know I'm going to enjoy. And it's a good time. And this is a very good time. Ewan McGregor is the standout in this film. He's very, very good. And Hayden Christensen, I also think is very good. People like to give him a bit of slander, saying it wasn't a good performance. I feel that's a bit unwarranted. I actually think he was pretty good. I thought Hayden Christensen did a good job as Anakin. And in particular, in this episode, he was good. I enjoyed it. 2006 was another great year that had some movies that could have been here, you know. Casino Royale, I love that film. The Prestige, I also love that film. But my favourite from 2006 is The Departed. I love this film. It's one of my favourite from Martin Scorsese, and God, is he a good director. The direction of this is flawless, seamless, just brilliant. It's a long film, but it's just not a second of its wasted. It flies by. The performances, it's an all-star cast, is this. So many great actors. My two favourites, I love Mark Wahlberg in this, I think he's great. And I also love the legend himself, Jack Nicholson, as the mob boss. It has it all. This film just has so many twists and turns you simply do not expect. It has one particular scene, I won't ruin it for you if you haven't seen it, but my jaw hit the floor like that. I was just in complete shock as to what I've just seen. There's scenes in this that you simply cannot predict what happens in this film. You simply cannot. And there's so many memorable scenes that just happen. You think, oh, that was like, what the fuck's even going on? And the ending is so satisfying and amazing. What an ending. Everything about this film is good. It's paced seamlessly. Everything works. You're entertained from start to finish. It really does just have it all. I think it's a great film. The script is flawless. You'll be very hard to find a hole in this script. It's great, and it definitely did deserve its Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay. 2007, I have another two honourable mentions that could have been here. The 3:10 to Yuma remake, what a film, really enjoyed that. There Will Be Blood, what a film. I had to mention those two because it was close. But my favourite is No Country for Old Men. This is by far my favourite Coen Brothers film. That's how much I enjoy this film. I think it's great. Javier Bardem is just ridiculously good in this. One of the best performances I've seen. He is absolutely unbelievable, unforgiving, cold-blooded, the biggest psychopath you could possibly think of. And Josh Brolin is also great as the lead in this. And the tension does not break from the start all the way till the finish. It's just constant. Because you're rooting for Josh Brolin's character, but you're just so scared for him. Because he has this cold-blooded nutcase looking for him the whole film, and you're just constantly worried, constantly on the edge of your seat. Some very close calls, some very intense moments. It has so many memorable moments. I love how this film is not afraid to take risks. The ending is a big risk. For me, it pays off. The monologue by Tommy Lee Jones at the end is great. He's just talking about not really understanding the world anymore, and he's a bit too old for this, and I think it's a great monologue. And I just think the whole movie took the risks, they all worked. Everything about it's great. The tension, I just love these thriller movies. This is the definition of a thriller. Has you on the edge of your seat throughout. Javier Bardem smashes this role so far out of the park. Definitely deserved his Oscar for this. What a performance. And yeah, it's just a great overall film. I love No Country for Old Men. 2008, a very simple one, The Dark Knight. One of my favourite films of all time. I just think it is perfect. There's not really much else I can say, because everyone goes on about how amazing this film is. Heath Ledger's Joker, flawless. One of the best performances I've ever seen. Christian Bale as Batman, perfect. Everyone is great. Michael Caine as Alfred, great. Morgan Freeman's character's great. Gary Oldman's character's great. Everyone is good. The all-star cast all work. Christopher Nolan, one of the best directors working today. One of my favourite directors of all time. The use of practical effects are brilliant. The score is outrageously good. The direction, everything is so good about this film. I absolutely love The Dark Knight. The Joker, the psychological factors that play a part in this. Two-Face is great. Everything about this film is brilliant. Ending, goosebumps every single time. Goosebumps from the opening sequence, one of my favourite opening sequences, and an ending that is just iconic. Goosebumps from start to finish, literally. It has it all for me. I just think it is a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant film. The best comic book film ever made, and it's probably going to be the best comic book film we'll ever see. It's that good. I love Up, but I had to go with Inglourious Basterds on this one. This film is one of Tarantino's very best, and I think it is so good. So many memorable scenes, particularly the bar scene and the whole opening sequence. For those two alone, it deserves to be here. Hans Lada, played by Christopher Waltz, outrageously good performance. One of my favourite performances ever. I also love Brad Pitt in this. I love everything about it. The tension build, the blood, the revenge factor. It's a very satisfying film that just pays off. Dialogue, obviously brilliant. It's just got it all. It's got humour that lands. It's just a film I really enjoy watching. It's very rewatchable. It flies by the 2.5 hour runtime. It just has it all for me. I think it's a great film. That it hits every chord for me. I just think it's a great film overall. 2010 was another simple one for me, and it is Inception. This film is a masterpiece. It's a sci-fi piece of brilliance. I absolutely love it. So original. I love original storylines, and this is as original as it comes. The first time I watched it, I kind of just thought it was okay. But then, as time went by, I don't know if you guys feel like this, you know, as time goes by, you've watched a film you thought was just okay, and you think, you just have this itch to watch it again. And I watched it again like 2 years later, and I fell in love. I couldn't believe I didn't like it as much the first time I watched it. The second time I watched it, what were I thinking? It's so good. But I think this film does require multiple viewings because it can be quite a difficult plot for the first viewing. But the more you watch it, it gets better and better and better. The rewatchability factor is through the roof on this one. It has, again, Christopher Nolan's great direction, Christopher Nolan's great use of practical effects. Again, so many mind-blowing sequences, like fight scenes of things turning, and it's just so clever. I love it. The performances are great, in particular Leonardo DiCaprio, who brings out this very serious and dramatic, heartbreaking performance that works so well. I absolutely love Leonardo DiCaprio, and he smashes this. I mean, everyone's good. You know, it's such a good film. I absolutely love Inception. The score by Hans Zimmer, wow. Time is such a beautiful score. It's just the ending, the whole ending half an hour with that score smashing through the speakers. It is just brilliant. It gives me goosebumps every time I listen to it. It is a masterpiece. What a brilliant score this film has, and it just has it all. The ending of this film is so clever. This whole film's so clever, but the ending is so clever, so good. Goosebumps every single time I watch this film. Never tire of watching it. I just love every single factor about it. It is a complete masterpiece. 2011, another easy one. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. Payoff, and more payoff. This film is relentlessly paced. The pacing of this is non-stop. It is constant. It is great. Start from the Gringotts Bank all the way to the final battle between Harry and Voldemort. It's paced amazing. Has so many emotional moments, you know, particularly the Snape scene, so emotional. And it really just has it all for me. Everything I needed. Satisfaction through the roof on this, you know. Everyone, it all just goes so well. Something amazing happens and another thing amazing happens and again and again and again. It just keeps going. It's relentless, is this film. The action is so entertaining. The monologues are entertaining. So many memorable scenes. It just has it all, and it's an end to just a perfect franchise and 8 amazing films. But this last one just takes the cake for me, and it takes it by quite a distance. That's how much I love this film. Rewatchability factor, probably the most rewatchable on this entire list. It is just a fantastic film. 2012 was a difficult one. Silver Linings Playbook could very well have made this list, but Django Unchained just gets it. I love this film. I think it's one of Tarantino's very best. I think it's a masterpiece in my opinion. I love westerns, and this is a great take on the western genre. Every performance is great. Jamie Foxx, Christopher Waltz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Samuel Jackson all provide world-class performances. The villain in this is fucking brilliant. I love a good villain, and Leonardo DiCaprio is one of the darkest, sickest, great villains that you really grow to hate, and which leaves more satisfaction, and the ending of this film is very satisfying. So many memorable moments I didn't expect to happen. Dialogue amazing, tension building amazing, typical Tarantino, everything I love about him. One of my favourite directors of all time. It's bloody, it's relentless, the action's fantastic. It has it all for me. You know, it just has everything I love about Quentin Tarantino, and it's everything I love about film. I'm a massive Western fan, and this is one of my favourite Westerns, which is great. And surprising that one of my favourite Westerns is one that came out in modern cinema. But yeah, it's a great film. I absolutely love Django Unchained. 2013 is The Wolf of Wall Street. What a film. I think this is Leonardo DiCaprio's best ever performance, and I also think it's Martin Scorsese's best film. I love this film. It's based on a true story. I love films based on true stories, and this is a true story I just can't wrap my head around. It's completely original. You won't get one like this, another movie, true story like this. And Jordan Belfort, I'm just so interested in his character and his life. I find it so interesting, and the 3-hour runtime of this flies by. The humour in this is hilarious. The direction is seamless. The narration is great. I absolutely love it. I love everything about this film. I really do. It's one of my favourite films of all time. A lot of people don't like saying that because it is a typical what a lad would like. You know, if you ask an everyday lad what your favourite film is, a lot of people would say The Wolf of Wall Street, but it is a masterclass of filmmaking. I think it's done so well. Margot Robbie is great, Jonah Hill is great, so many memorable scenes. My favourite scene is when Jordan finally gets those lemons hit his system and he just can't even function. Then Jonah Hill's on phone, Donnie's on phone, and they come over and their interactions it's just so good. I just love this film. It's got a lot of similarities to Goodfellas, but I just think it's got better material. That's why I prefer it to Goodfellas. There's a lot of similarities, you know, the narration, the rise and fall of our main character, it being based on a true story. You know, it has a lot of similarities. And when you watch them both, they are very similar in that way. But I just think The Wolf of Wall Street's better. You know, it's quite a controversial thought, but I think it's better. And I just think this movie overall has it all. It's just a great film. 2014 was a difficult one because so many good films came out this year. It was a very good year for film. I'll just throw out some honourable mentions. There's quite a few. Interstellar, an amazing sci-fi film. Fury, an amazing war film. Nightcrawler, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Gone Girl, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Guardians of the Galaxy, Big Hero 6, Edge of Tomorrow, an incredibly underrated film, Kingsman: The Secret Service, John Wick, The Lego Movie, Paddington, another incredibly underrated film, and The Winter Soldier. Relentless. None of them were my favourite though. My favourite was Damien Chazelle's film Whiplash. This film for me is one of my favourite films of all time. Damien Chazelle is actually already becoming one of my favourite directors. I think he's just smashing it at the moment. I loved Whiplash, I loved La La Land, I loved The First Man. He's just smashing it at the moment. So excited to see what his next projects are. He's really a great director. He's proven that already. And this film for me is just fucking brilliant. The mental aspect, the mental warfare, you know, just trying to overcome everything you can to reach the top, you know. Our main character, played by Miles Teller, who so desperately wants to be the next big thing, you know. And then he has this teacher, played by J.K. Simmons. And wow, is he good in this film. I'm so happy he won his Oscar for it because he was world class in this. So intimidating. He comes in, he eats up the screen. People just shit themselves in his company. He can switch, he can be really nice. Next minute, awful. And the mental battle between him and Miles Teller's character is so interesting to watch. The ending of this film is flawless. It's that good, it brings tears to my eyes. I just think it is the best ending on this list for me. It is a masterwork. The way it's edited is so clever, so well done. The direction is brilliant. The insults flown at each other is brilliant. The dialogue is witty, original, creative. When I first saw this movie, I thought it's about a jazz drummer. It's not for me. It's a film that I wore. It's not for me. And this is the movie that really helped me realise that it doesn't really matter what the storyline is, because you could watch it and end up falling in love with it, and this was that film for me. I watched it because I saw it had great reviews, so I thought I'll give it a go, and I was just floored with how good it was. This for me is a masterpiece. I absolutely adore Whiplash. The 2015 is Mad Max Fury Road. George Miller smashes this. It's the best Mad Max film for me. Can't wait for the next one. George Miller comes back, and he just proves, with this big budget, this is how you make the most of a big budget. Huge, wide, beautiful shots that immerse you into this world. The colour palette is gorgeous. The scenery is gorgeous. The practical effects are fucking amazing. The action is brilliantly helmed. There's not any shaky cam in this, not even in the slightest, and I love it. It's relentlessly good, is this film. It's beautiful to look at. The performances are all very good. In particular, Charlize Theron as Furiosa. What a performance from her. She's great. It packs emotional punches in this film. It basically has it all for me. It's great. Satisfying ending. Everything I love about action films right here. You know, action films kind of lost the way a bit in recent times, but this brought it right back to form. A breath of fresh air for modern cinema and modern action films. It has it all. I wish more action films were like this, because this is a masterpiece. 2016 was difficult because I absolutely love Hacksaw Ridge, so that's a big honourable mention. But my favourite was Train to Busan. What a film this is. 2 zombie films on this list, which is mad. And this is just so good. It had no right to be this good. It's one of my favourite foreign films of all time. It had just no right to be this good. A zombie film where they're on a train, you think, it's a bit generic this, you know. We've seen it all before. But this one is just done so well. Every character, there's about 6 main characters in this, all you root for these guys. If one of these die, you're gutted. The character development, these characters are so likeable, and the emotional arc our main character goes through. At first you think, oh, he's a bit of a pricking, but then everything turns out well. The little girl's performance is world class. She's amazing in this film. It's relentless. Once it goes and doesn't stop till the very end. Our characters are really pushed through the ringer on this. They don't even have a second to breathe. The zombies are just ridiculous in this. It's so well done. The actors have smashed it as the zombies. And yeah, it's so likeable. Very emotional. This film had no right to be so emotional either. The emotional punches it throws at you. I was crying at the end of this film. Which is very mad that I was crying at a fucking zombie train film, but I was, and I think it is just such a good film overall. I watched it, my mind was blown. It's my favourite zombie film, actually. I just think it's that good. Guys, if you haven't seen this, you have to watch it. It is a masterpiece. I just love it so much. Relentlessly entertaining. Does never let up till the final frame. It's just brilliant. We also have what I love about movies, a fucking prick. There's a prick in this who you just simply hate. He is the most selfish guy in the world, and I love having a villain in it who is so dislikable. And it's funny because the heroes are so goddamn likable. Like, so likeable, but the villain is so intensely dislikable. It's great. I love that. You know, I love it when there's just as strong of a villain as there are heroes, and it just works so well, guys. It's such a good film, this one. 2017 is Logan. I love Logan so much. Hugh Jackman smashes this performance. It's the best performance I've seen from him in the X-Men films. He's great. It's a very dark, rated R. Thank fuck it was rated R, because it just needed it. Relentless, gory, unforgiving action. Claws going through the face, slashing everyone apart. It was a great ending to Hugh Jackman's career as Wolverine. The ending is perfect. The storyline is great. Has a great villain, great performances, great twists that you do not expect at all. It's just brilliant. I really, really enjoy it, and I'm so happy it got the R rating. That's a huge factor as to why this film is so good. It's relentless. I absolutely love Logan. It's one of my favourite comic book films ever made. It's just that good. it's just that good, simple as that. I really enjoy Logan. I have to mention again the Wolverine forest scene. I just, for that scene alone, deserve to be here. It's that good. 2018 has some honourable mentions. Bohemian Rhapsody I really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed Hereditary. That was very close to being my favourite. And Infinity War is also a very good film. But my favourite is Mission Impossible Fallout. This again, like Mad Max Fury Road, is how you do an action film. Huge practical effects. Tom Cruise is a fucking nut job. Does all these amazing stunts. This film has a great villain, and I will not spoil the villain for people who haven't seen it. The action is relentless. No shaky cam. Great action sequences. The bathroom scene in particular, just so brilliant to see. The ending sequence of this is so intense, so like right till the final second, you know, you're so engaged in this. You think it's finally all right, here we've reached the pinnacle here, then it happens, something else happens, and it happens again, and it happens again. It's relentless, this film. So entertaining. Great performances. I love Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt. You know, Henry Cavill is great in this. Everyone is great. Simon Pegg adds so much to the Mission Impossible franchise, and it's funny because these movies just get better and better and better. Fallout is the best out of the whole bunch for me, and Mission Impossible I'm a huge fan of. Can't wait for the 7th and 8th that are going to come out. But yeah, I love this film. It's just everything I love about action films. It's one of the best action films to come out in recent memory, alongside Mad Max Fury Road. I just think it is done so well. Such a good action film. I also cannot forget the score. The score of the Mission Impossible films are great. The theme tune is so iconic. It's one of my favourite movie theme tunes ever. When that comes on, it's just so amazing when it comes on in the film. But the score blasts through your speakers. It's such a great score, Fallout score. And especially in the finale at the end, it's just this huge score just blasting away. It's just fucking perfect. 2019 was another unbelievable year for film. The years I've been alive, I think 2014 and 2019 were the two best years. So many honourable mentions, I'll just have to go through them again now. 1917, what a war film. Parasite, unbelievable. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great. The Gentleman, Le Mans 66, The Lighthouse, Knives Out, Jojo Rabbit, the list goes on. It is great for film, but there is one standout for me, and it was Joker. Joker has people who don't like it, critics don't like it, but I mean, fuck critics, right? Most of the time they're wrong anyway. It's more about what us fans enjoy, and the vast majority of us enjoy this film. There is a lot of similarities to Taxi Driver, I get it, you know, and I think people to mark it down because it is similar to Taxi Driver, it's pretty silly really. This film is very much its own film. It just took a lot of inspiration for Taxi Driver, and in my opinion this movie is better than Taxi Driver. I think a lot of people are afraid to say that, but I think this film is better. Joaquin Phoenix in this is world class. What a performance. I didn't think anyone could get close to Heath Ledger, but in this film he gets very close. The reasons why Arthur does lose his mind are very justified. I love how it just keeps breaking him down and down and down, and it's portrayed so well by Joaquin Phoenix. It's so believable. The score is depressing and it's just very heartbreaking. It's a great score. Unbelievably unforgettable. Unforgettable moments. Loads of unforgettable moments in this film. Particularly the Maury show at the end. It's just brilliant. It all builds up. It's like a drama, this film. You know, it's not, if you go into this film thinking there's going to be explosions and lots of action, you'll be very wrong. It's like a character study, and it just builds up and up and up and up until you get that huge payoff ending. And I love films about like the mental stability of characters and people who are psychopaths, and they're going and what makes them that way and how they act. I love films like that involving psychopaths like that. I love it, and I just think it's a very good film. The stair scene, God, is that good. You know, I love how when he's going up, there's a lot of scenes where he is just slowly going up the stairs, very depressed, you know. And the one scene we get of him going down the stairs, he's dancing and he finally feels free and happy and comfortable in his own skin. And yeah, you do root for this guy, even though he's the biggest prick in the world. You do root for him, unfortunately, because he's just so, I guess, likeable for some reason. You do feel sorry for him. But yeah, this film is just brilliant. So many iconic moments. Great film. It gives me goosebumps every time I watch it. I love the Joker. Then we move on to 2020. By far the worst year on this list. Not the best films came out this year, you know. But my favourite was one I did really enjoy, and it's called Soul. Pixar's film. I loved it. I thought it was a great story about life and appreciating life and not always just running and chasing this goal. You've got to appreciate the little things and just enjoy life in general. It's not all about trying to chase something you think will make you happy, because most of the time you get to that point and you're like, well, what now? You know, it's all about just enjoying life, your relationships, the little things. And the arcs the characters go through are great. It's very likeable. It's very targeted towards adults. It's just a great film. The cat sequences are very funny. It's light-hearted. I just think it's a great Pixar film overall. It really touched me emotionally. I just thought it was a great film. Beautifully animated, obviously. It's a Pixar film. Great storytelling. It's just a great film. It teaches you a very valuable lesson in life. But yeah, that is all the years I've been alive are my favourite films. Guys, please let me know yours down below. I'd love to see these lists. I love reading your comments. This has been the Movie Matthew channel. You can like, you can subscribe, and you can do whatever you want. This has been the Movie Matthew channel, and I will see you next week.